Good morning. It's Jim Saturday. Your boy coming to you live from the Zagnif Mobile in the 405, where the wind definitely came whipping down the plain a couple of days ago and left a little bit of that white chilly stuff with it. A little bit of snow, about maybe 3 or 4 inches. Most of it is melted away now. Life as we know it will resume come Monday, just a little bit colder. So we survived. Hope everybody else is doing well, especially my friends on the East Coast up in the mid-Atlantic area and areas points north of that where it's supposed to be coming down pretty heavy. What can we say? I know you guys have been waiting to hear what we had to say about Georgia, Notre Dame. My buddy Colin lost his voice. Shouts out to my partner in crime, Colin P. from the DMV. Lost his voice. We weren't able to go. But all the talking heads have already said all that needs to be said about that game. We know how it ended. Georgia started flat. Georgia started a lot flat. And you know how that went. Of course, Notre Dame went on to defeat Penn State and is now playing in the national championship against Ohio State, who looked very, very dominant against Oregon. And all the talking heads said if that team shows up to play Texas, Texas is in trouble. Well, Ohio State didn't really need to do all of that. The very first series where Texas could not get the ball down the field and score and had to hand the ball over to Ohio State told me all we needed to see, and that was pretty much the case for most of the rest of the game. Texas was able to get a couple of scores and not the game up, but then of course Ohio State, being Ohio State of 2024, the 2024 season and the 2025 postseason, did what they do, and they are now going on to face the Irish. I think, well, there's a lot to be said there because there's been questions about Ryan Howard's play during the course of the season. There's been some questions about Riley Leonard's play during the season, but both have proven to be very serviceable quarterbacks with a whole lot of heart. And sometimes there are things that your heart can make up for in terms of your, I won't say lack of ability, because they don't lack the ability. They're both starting quarterbacks at Division I programs, but maybe they're not considered top tier. They wouldn't be considered top tier quarterbacks in the NFL overall. So yeah, there's that. But Ohio State wins by 2 scores. Deal sealed and the door closed with the scoop and score by Sawyer. So Ohio State moves on to face Notre Dame. This should be a very interesting game. Ohio State has been very Jekyll and Hyde during the course of the season, as we saw in a very listless loss. They just looked to NIU on Notre Dame's end. Ohio State in the game against Michigan, it just looked like, it was like, what is Ohio State doing? And because Michigan was Michigan this season. Sorry, Michigan fans. It just wasn't a good season for you guys this year. You'll reload and we'll see what you bring to the table next year. We did expect a little bit of regression with Harbaugh being gone. So no real surprises. The only big surprise was that the season went as badly as it did. So we've got both teams that have shown us, both of these teams have shown us both ends of the spectrum, how they look when they're firing on all cylinders and how they look when the engine refuses to turn over, as it will. So I look for it to be a fairly even game. I mean, the X factor, you got Jeremiah Love, Riley Leonard on Notre Dame side, but Ohio State is loaded. All of their wide receivers are NFL Sunday guys. Every single one of them. And then let's not forget Quinshon Judkins. Those guys, I think, are going to be the X factor in determining whether or not Ohio State wins or Notre Dame wins. So Notre Dame has definitely got to figure out a way to shut the speedsters down, because if those guys get by you and Ryan Howard's got a good look, we may be hearing touchdown Ohio State a lot during that game, slated for I do believe it's January 20th. I'll have to check the schedule, but yeah, so that's what we got. You got Notre Dame versus Ohio State. And I'm not really going to make a prediction on this one because either one of these teams is prone to show up and show us the Mr. Hyde side of their personalities, as it were. So I'm going to reserve judgment. I would like for it to be a great game, and I think that it will. Both teams showing a lot of heart. Notre Dame playing uber hard for Marcus Freeman, and Ryan Day. I haven't seen Ryan Day smile that much on the sideline since he took over as head coach. He seems to be enjoying his job, and there's nothing worse than somebody that's really qualified for a job, that's doing very well at that job, that finds the ability to smile, because then you might be in trouble. So I look for it to be a good game. We can never predict what's really going to happen when a game shows up. We have a good idea based on previous results, but I look for it to be a good game. I do think whoever wins is going to win by, I want to say at a minimum of 10 points. So it's for whoever wins. It's not going to be a situation where it comes down to the last field goal kick or a play from the 1 yard line to win it, or a scoop and score, or a pick six. I don't think it's going to be any of that. I think whatever way it goes, it's going to be a wide enough swing for either team to win. That's what I've got. You guys in the comments, let me know what you think. I'm not going to tell you when Colin and I are going to be back. I'm assuming that we're going to do a wrap up at some point of the season. There's still Carson Beck to talk about, with him pulling from the draft and transferring to Miami, apparently. There's a scenario with Rashada, who is transferred again. So we shall see. We shall see. But at any rate, you guys have a good weekend. I got to go get my workout on. You guys have a great day. They might not be in the national championship. They're still my guys. Go Dogs.